The most dangerous woman a man will ever meet isn't the loud one. It isn't the angry one. It's the quiet empath who finally stopped explaining herself. The one who used to feel everything, fix everything, forgive everything. And then one day, she just went silent. Why does her silence scare them more than her words ever did? If you've ever loved deeply, given endlessly, and still been called too much, tap that subscribe button right now and let me explain why most men were never built to handle a woman like you. Let's be honest with each other for a second. You feel things other people don't even notice. You walk into a room and you can sense the mood before anyone speaks. You hear what people don't say. You feel what they try to hide. You catch the small shift in his voice, the pause that lasted a second too long, the smile that didn't reach his eyes. And while everyone calls it overthinking, you know the truth. You're just paying attention. But here's the painful part. The same gift that makes you magnetic is the same gift that makes most men run. They love how deeply you see them at first. They feel understood in a way they never have. They open up. They cry. They tell you things they've never told anyone. And then, almost overnight, they pull away. They go cold. They get distant. And you're left wondering what you did wrong. You didn't do anything wrong. You were just too real for someone who built his whole life around pretending. Carl Jung once said people will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own soul. And that's exactly what happens when a regular man meets a female empath. You don't just see him, you see through him. And most men aren't ready for that kind of mirror. So let's talk about the first reason most men can't handle a woman like you. You feel too deeply, and your depth exposes their shallowness. When you love with your whole chest. You don't play games. You don't keep score. You give everything because that's just who you are. But most men have spent their whole lives staying on the surface. They were taught to shut down, to toughen up, to never feel too much. So when you show up with your ocean of feeling, they panic. Not because you're too much, but because they're not enough. Have you ever felt like you were loving someone who couldn't love you back the same way? Drop a yes in the comments and subscribe to join thousands of women who are finally waking up to their own worth. The second reason is your intuition. You don't need proof. You just know. You know when he's lying before he opens his mouth. You know when something is off, even when he swears everything is fine. You feel the energy shift before the words come out. And this terrifies men who have something to hide. Because you're not a woman they can fool. You're not a woman they can manipulate with charm and pretty words. Your gut speaks louder than their lies, and that makes you dangerous to anyone who isn't living in truth. The third reason is your silence. When a normal woman is hurt, she might yell, argue, or fight to be heard. But when an empath is done, she goes quiet. Truly quiet. She stops explaining. She stops asking. She stops trying to make him understand. And that silence is louder than any scream. Because he knows. Deep down, he knows she's already gone. Her body might still be there, but her soul has already packed its bags. And there is nothing more terrifying to a man than a woman who used to fight for him and suddenly doesn't. The fourth reason is your honesty. You don't sugarcoat. You don't play pretend. You'll sit across from him and say the things no one else has the courage to say. You'll name the patterns. You'll name the wounds. You'll name the things he's been running from his whole life. And most men aren't ready for that kind of mirror. They want a woman who will smile and nod and let them stay asleep. But you came here to wake people up. And not everyone wants to be woken up. Are you tired of dimming your light just to make someone else feel comfortable? Subscribe and hit the bell right now if you're ready to stop apologizing for being deep. The fifth reason is the way you love. When you love a man, you don't just love him. You study him. You memorize the way he takes his coffee. You notice the songs that make him quiet. You remember the story he told you once about his childhood that he forgot he even shared. You love him in ways he didn't even know he needed. And at first, it feels like magic to him, like he finally found someone who truly sees him. But then something strange happens. He starts to feel unworthy. He starts to feel like he doesn't deserve this kind of love. And instead of rising to meet you, he starts to shrink. He starts to sabotage. He starts to pull away. Because here's the truth nobody talks about. A man who hasn't healed cannot receive deep love. It feels like pressure to him. It feels like a spotlight on every part of himself he's been hiding. Your love isn't the problem. His unhealed parts are. But instead of doing the work, he'll blame you. He'll call you intense. He'll call you needy. He'll call you too emotional. When really, you were just too honest for a man living a half-life. The sixth reason is your energy. You carry something most people can't name. People feel it the moment you walk in. Strangers tell you their life stories in grocery store lines. Children gravitate toward you. Animals trust you. You have this quiet power that doesn't need to announce itself. And weak men feel small next to it. They don't know how to stand beside a woman whose presence is already full. They want a woman who needs them to feel complete. But you don't need anyone to complete you. You already are complete. And that drives them crazy. Have you ever walked into a room and felt people's energy hit you like a wave? Let me know in the comments and subscribe so you don't miss the next part of this conversation. The seventh reason is your standards. Once you wake up, once you finally see your worth, you become impossible to play with. You stop accepting crumbs. You stop chasing closure. You stop begging for the bare minimum. You used to be the woman who would over-explain herself, who would shrink to keep the peace, who would accept "I'm just bad at texting" as a real answer. But not anymore. Now you see a red flag and you don't try to decorate it. You just leave, quietly, without drama, without a goodbye speech. And men who counted on your patience are stunned when they realize it finally ran out. And this is where so many men lose you. They thought your kindness was weakness. They thought your forgiveness was endless. They thought because you stayed last time, you'd stay this time. But empaths have a breaking point. And once that point is crossed, there is no coming back. You don't hate them. You don't curse them. You just close the door and you never open it again. That's the part they can't handle. They could handle your anger. They could handle your tears. But your peace without them? That breaks something inside them they didn't know could break. The eighth reason is the one most people are too scared to say out loud. You remind them of their mother, their wounds, and every part of themselves they've been avoiding. When a man meets a woman who truly sees him, every old wound rises to the surface. Every time he was told to man up, every time he was shamed for crying, every time he felt unloved as a little boy, it all comes flooding back. And instead of letting you love him through it, he runs. Because facing himself feels harder than losing you. Does this sound like someone you know? Share this video with her and subscribe for more truths that finally explain what you've been feeling for years. So now you might be sitting there thinking, why me? Why do I always attract the men who can't handle me? Why do I always end up being the one who feels too much, gives too much, loses too much? And I want you to hear me when I say this. It is not because you are broken. It is not because you love wrong. It is because you were never meant to be loved by half-awake men. You were designed for a different kind of love, a love that meets you in the deep end, a love that doesn't flinch at your intensity, a love that doesn't ask you to be smaller, softer, or less. But before that love can find you, something has to happen first. You have to stop offering your magic to men who treat it like a burden. You have to stop being the healer for men who refuse to do their own healing. You have to stop translating yourself into a language that broken people can understand. Because every time you do that, you lose a piece of yourself. And one day, if you're not careful, you'll look in the mirror and not recognize the woman staring back. Have you been pretending you're okay when you're actually exhausted from carrying everyone else's weight? Subscribe right now and drop your story in the comments. I want to hear it. Here's the part nobody tells you. The reason most men can't handle you is not your problem to fix. Let me say that again, slower this time. The reason most men can't handle you is not your problem to fix. You are not too much. You are not too deep. You are not too sensitive. You were never the issue. You were just surrounded by people who never learned how to hold something as rare as you. And that is not a flaw in you. That is a reflection of them. There is a moment in every empath's life where she finally gets it, where she stops asking why she keeps attracting the same kind of man, where she stops blaming herself for being too soft, too kind, too forgiving, and she finally turns her love inward. She starts choosing herself. She starts protecting her energy. She starts walking away from anyone who makes her feel like a problem for being human. And in that moment, something powerful happens. She becomes untouchable. Not cold, not bitter, just untouchable. Because she's no longer available for confusion. She's no longer available for breadcrumbs. She's no longer available for love that feels like guesswork. She becomes a woman who knows her worth so deeply that no man can shake her. And that, my friend, is the most powerful version of you. The version they were never ready for. The version you're becoming right now, whether you realize it or not. Do you recognize this pattern in your own life? Subscribe now and tell me your story below. I read every single one. So if you're reading this, if you're hearing these words, and your eyes are starting to sting a little, I want you to know something. You are not crazy. You are not too much. You are not the problem. You are a woman who feels everything in a world that taught people to feel nothing. That is not a curse. That is a gift. But it is a gift that has to be protected. Not every person gets to access it. Not every man gets to drink from your well. Some people only get the surface of you, and that has to be okay with you. The truth is, the right kind of love will never make you question your worth. The right kind of love will never make you shrink. The right kind of love will meet your depth with depth, will meet your loyalty with loyalty, will meet your softness with safety. And anything less than that is not love. It's just a lesson dressed up like love. And you have learned enough lessons for one lifetime. So today, right here, right now, I want you to make a promise to yourself. Promise yourself that you will never again beg to be understood by someone who is committed to misunderstanding you. Promise yourself that you will never again make yourself smaller so someone else can feel bigger. Promise yourself that the next time a man cannot handle your depth, you will not apologize for the ocean. You will simply let him drown in shallow water and walk away, dry and free. Because here's the final truth. The men who can't handle you were never meant to. They were just stepping stones. They were just lessons. They were just chapters. But you are the whole book. You are the rare one. You are the soul they will think about for the rest of their lives, especially the ones who let you go. And one day, when you finally meet the man who can match you, you will understand why none of the others ever worked. They couldn't. They were never supposed to. You were never too much. You were just surrounded by people too small to hold you. And that ends today. From this moment forward, you are no longer available for love that costs you your peace. You are no longer available for relationships that feel like work, but never feel like home. You are sovereign now. You are awake now. And nothing and no one can put you back to sleep. If this video made you feel something, share it with someone who needs it. Subscribe for more videos that actually understand you.